Just like the Corvette, the Goldwings are not just road guys anymore. It's a young man's game. Cue the intro. Guys, this is the newest, the latest generation of the Goldwing. And this is the Goldwing Tour. So what they did in the new generation in 2018 is they took the F6B that has no tour pack, and they called that the Goldwing now. What used to be now just the regular Goldwing, they call this the Goldwing Tour. And this is by far one of the best looking, best handling, best performing, and best teched out, not just Goldwings out there, motorcycles out there. And I'm sure this little thing I just found out. I was looking at this, I'm like, that's gotta be a thing. Press that button, bam, that opens up. Press that, that's how you open up the gas. Now, it's pretty normal for Honda to, when they design a Goldwing, to have that same general model out for a long time, 10, maybe 14 years, like similar to what they did with the last generation Goldwing. So you can expect to see this basic same model with slight variations for the next probably foreseeable decade. This is the DCT model, which means in the manual transmission, it is the first ever Goldwing to have more than a 5-speed gearbox with a 6-speed gearbox, and the DCT is a 7-speed gearbox. And guys, stay tuned for later in the video. This might be one of the fastest bikes we've ever test driven in 0 to 60. Now, you would be surprised. I'm sure you would think that when you ride a bike like this, that you're like, it's not gonna shift when I want it to shift. My experience is that, and I have not done any research on this, it learns where you want it to shift. It kind of adapts to your driving patterns. So if you're real easygoing and you're driving real light, it's gonna start driving like that and shifting like that. If you're real getting on it, it's gonna adapt it to a more aggressive driving. Until eventually, within about half an hour, it's just shifting when you would normally shift. You know, it's taking a lot of things into consideration. Your braking, it's taking your throttle, how much throttle you're giving it. And I hate to say it, but it really kind of, I mean, I love driving a normal, standard, manual transmission motorcycle, but this was easy to jump onto. Now, if I was going to get one, I'm not sure what I would get, but I know the DCTs have been doing extremely well, and a lot of people are buying them. So there's a lot of first evers in this generation Goldwing. First ever to have more than 5 speeds, first ever fully automatic, first ever adjustable windshield, first ever with Apple CarPlay in it, first ever Goldwing to have a starter alternator as the same unit, which saves weight. This thing is 86 pounds lighter than the previous 2017 generation Goldwing. That's like a small woman. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. You're a motorcycle guy. You're like, I can't ride an automatic. I'm not gonna like it. Well, we're gonna jump in, we're gonna do the road trip, we're gonna show you all about it. But you're right, it is initially hopping on this thing, it is a little weird. There's no clutch over here. There's no shifter down here. I can assure you within like 20 minutes, this feels more comfortable, and this thing makes shifts at the right perfect spots. But there's also a few things that the automatic transmission, the DCT Honda has, that the regular one doesn't have. But before that, I just want to say that Honda has perfected the DCT. They've been doing it for the past almost 20 years. I mean, Honda in like the 80s had the Honda-matic. I'm not sure how that worked. Honda had the VFR 1200, which was DCT. That was awesome. You know, more recently they had the NC 700. That was DCT. And then they finally put it in their flagship bike, the Goldwing, and it is a flawless system. Now, you guys saw when we ran the DCT Africa Twin. I did not think I was gonna like it. I ended up falling in love with it. The only thing I didn't like about it was harder to do wheelies on. But the features that the DCT has that the manual one does not have is this, and it's actually a really cool feature. Yo, a bird just pooped on my hand.
Are you serious? Ew.
I put my hand right up here, and a bird just pooped. Do you even see a bird? I protected the bike though. So when you turn the bike on, you turn the ignition over here, and then you press that, it just fires up. If you have the bike in drive, and you put the kickstand down or you shut it off, it'll automatically put it in neutral before it turns off. So you reach over here, you make sure the bike's in neutral. You have two options, neutral, drive. You have automatic and manual mode. You make sure the bike's in neutral. You come over here, you press this plus and minus button. You have to have your hand on the brake to press the plus and minus button. And then you have two options. You got reverse, but you also have forward. So if you're doing like a multi-thing turn, you don't have to take it out of reverse every single time or push it with your feet. It's actually one of the coolest features I've ever seen on a motorcycle. and it switches on the fly just right away. And then when you're done, put it back in neutral and turn the bike off. Now because it's an automatic, it does need an e-brake, which is right here. Lift up, engage e-brake. When you want to disengage it, lift it up more, put it back in. Now another big thing that you'll notice is they've really simplified the whole dash. They also made the bike not feel as big. When you look on the previous generation or all the Goldwings, they just feel ginormous, like you're in like a couch. This actually seems a lot slimmer, but it has more options. Another big thing is the change in the suspension that they did. The new Goldwing does not have conventional forks, which also means it does not have conventional fork seals. If you look right here, you can see that the handlebars are not directly connected. When they're directly connected, they're not directly affected by the travel of the suspension. Now watch the suspension. Look at all the stuff that the suspension is doing that you don't feel any of it. You don't notice any of it. You see it right down there? Because you're much more disconnected from the feeling of the ups and downs with this bike, with the way this suspension set up. Another thing that's new to the Goldwing, instead of having buttons like this, it has buttons like this. All electronically controlled with the main lock of the motorcycle, just like a car would be. The passenger pegs are also seamlessly designed into the flow of the motorcycle. So the new body style Goldwing, I think, is just as comfortable, if not more comfortable, than the old body style Goldwing. But how does it feel when your lady friend gets on back?
Oh, it's beautiful.
How does it feel back there, Caleb?
Oh, it's so comfortable.
Pretty comfortable?
Oh, so comfortable. I can fall asleep back here.
There you have it. Just as comfortable. Yo, get off my bike. And of course, like all Goldwings, it's got a center stand and a nice big grab handle for you to grab right here to pull up on the center stand. Now it's still it's the same engine format of a Boxer 6, but it's a completely new design and a completely new engine. What this bike does is it makes it harder for you to decide whether you want a touring bike or whether you want a sport touring bike, because it puts it together in the same thing of having all the benefits of a touring bike and all the pluses of a sport touring bike. Honestly, it almost has the pluses of a sport bike. This thing handles so well, looks so small, seems so slim. They did reduce the fuel capacity, which some guys complained about, but they also increased the fuel economy, which gets you the same distance. Let's take this first spin. Let's go do 0 to 60 and see how this thing really handles. All right, guys, to the words of wisdom, 1 Chronicles 16:11. Seek the Lord and his strength. Seek his face continually. Oh, I forgot my gloves. You know, one of the best things about the M1 Moto gloves is how they are magic. Ah, it worked. So you turn this thing on by turning that. You don't grab the clutch because there is no clutch. The bike fires up. Of course, we're gonna take it out of tour and put it in sport. Unless there's like a super sport mode. Nope, rain, tour, sport. All right, we're good. And then you put this in drive. There's 2 options here. Right now it's just in the full, I think that's in the automatic mode. So you guys hear me doing a lot of hating on windshields. I actually enjoy a variable height windshield because this is nice. Right now I want wind in my face. I got wind in my face. There's wind coming right through my helmet. I'm not getting any buffeting on my helmet, which is moving my head around, giving me headaches, and it feels great. If I want to raise it up because I'm getting a little cold or it's rainy, I can raise it up. Now I'm looking through the windshield and there's absolutely no wind hitting me. It's awesome. It is the best of both worlds. I mean, the shifting is so lightning fast. I cannot shift that fast. I mean, I'm pretty good, but you know, I can't shift that fast. I'm focusing on other stuff. It's so lightning fast. I think I can get this thing in a 0 to 60 faster than 3 seconds. I think I can get a sub 3 0 to 60 on this bike, and I'm gonna show you guys up here in a little bit. I mean, this thing, it really does. It handles incredibly well. I would take this over most sport touring bikes that I love. And because a lot of times the problem with the Goldwings was they were so big, they felt like they were this wide. They were 7 feet wide, and you felt like you're driving this giant. And it's funny that old man drive the biggest bikes. You really felt like you're driving an old man bike, but not the new Goldwing. You're seeing a lot of younger riders riding them, and the old guys that are riding them, those guys know how to ride. Even the old Goldwings, they always kind of had that. This also shows your tire pressure monitor, which is new with Goldwings. Awesome. And this thing has all the awesome gadgets and tech that you've seen in BMWs for the past couple years. and now you have it in the Goldwing. Now the Goldwing is what you always had with the Goldwing was the reliability, how extremely reliable it was, and how comfortable it was, and how they handled well. Honda just kept on stepping up in the direction that they've been going. I know when they first came out, a lot of people were kind of complaining about a couple little things, like the fuel tank being a little bit smaller and stuff like that. It's a better bike. The only reason guys were complaining was because they bought the other one, and they were like, I should have waited for the new one. And I get it. I'd complain too. All right, we got it in sport mode. There, or somewhere before that. That was insane. I'm gonna do that again. I can do better than that. There. That pulled hard and efficiently. I don't know what the numbers are yet because I haven't out seen them, but that was quick. That may be the quickest bike I've ever man, it's a big bike for being that quick. This may come as no surprise to you guys. This bike is amazing on the highway. I mean, just effortlessly. This is the bike you want to be on the highway. I just got done doing a big trip, and I did it on a K1300. I loved it, and a lot of the features that had, this has, and does it even better, and does it more in the Goldwing style, with that 7-speed. Where's my, there we go, 7-speed automatic gearbox. I'm going the speed limit at just over 2,000 RPMs. Now if you flip that back into where it says drive, then it'll downshift on its own, it'll upshift on its own, it does everything itself. This is truly an amazing machine. We've all been waiting for it. Now you can get it. I'm also excited about the other one, the base Goldwing, which used to be the F6B with no tour pack. It's a good looking bike. It's a good looking bike, and they got it in a really nice price range. I think starting out at like, I don't know, say 17, 18,000 bucks. And a lot of the issues that they had before with not having cruise control, they figured that out. That's, you know, they figured that one out. Always has power. The visibility in these mirrors are ridiculous. Like they're wide, but not dumb looking. They're cool, but you can see a lot. You can see a lot of stuff behind you, a lot of stuff next to you. I actually prefer the manual mode better. That's more fun for me. So if you want to shift, just throw it in manual mode. It's instant. There's no like you've pressed a button. You know, a lot of the problems with that, you know, the older, like, you know, 2000 like paddle shifting cars and stuff like that had, were that they weren't instant. It was too delayed. You'd press the button and like a second later it comes in. And that's why the DCT, the dual clutch, which is 2 different clutches, is so perfect, because the moment you press that button, the difference is you don't have to get off the throttle, you don't got to grab the clutch, and instead of you using your foot, you use your finger to shift the bike. You tell it what to do. If I want to downshift, bam, downshift. If I want to downshift, downshift. They're not just supplying a need or supplying a product for a market that was in need. They're creating the market and changing the way that people want to ride bikes. Throwing it into the corners is awesome. It just wherever you point it to, wherever you want it to go, it just goes. It's connected to your mind. All right, guys, that wraps it up. If you guys want to buy a pair of these M1 motor gloves, check them out on the website, on the link below. We'll see you guys later. Do not forget to subscribe. We have a lot of bikes. This bike is currently for sale. If you're interested, check it out. Look us up at I'm trying to put it in neutral with my foot. Srkcycles.com. See you guys later.